Guys, welcome to this episode of Building Whitetails. I'm going to jump through a couple things that people do incorrectly in regards to establishing a fall food plot that a lot of people don't really know about. This is a little deeper dive into getting those plots established.
I've said it before, you'll hear me say it again, I will continue to say it. Help the deer do what deer want to do.
So in the last Building Whitetails episode, I touched on establishment of fall food plots. And there are guys that have access to no-till drills and things of that nature. I'm gonna go more on, what does more people have available to them, and that's less on the equipment side of things. So, I've got my Ranger back here. I've just got a 25-gallon tank in the back with a small boom sprayer. These are available at most all your ag retail stores, your Tractor Supplies, your Orschelns, your whatever it might be. This is such a valuable tool, and a backpack sprayer can be this a valuable tool as well in making sure that you have good weed control. Guys, for my burn down, I'm using Roundup. I'm using 2,4-D. I'm also using Liberty, and if you can get it, it's a great herbicide. And I'm using a surfactant as well, and also a crop oil. First thing, so really the number one thing that I see mistake-wise that a lot of people do is they're gonna go in, if they got a bunch of vegetative growth in their fall food plot, what's going to be their fall food plot, they go in and they mow it and they spray it the same day. Guys, plants absorb chemical through the leaves. If you mow off the leaves, the vegetation, where it's just stems and whatnot, it can't absorb the chemical to kill that plant. So if you're gonna mow it, and spray it, wait a week or two, and then mow it. I would wait minimum of 10 days. And often, and it totally depends on what you're doing, what equipment you have, but that's one mistake I see a lot of guys making, and chemical is so expensive right now. Hopefully that comes down in the future, at least some, and we get some relief from that. But in the meantime, we don't want to be spending anything that's extra and unnecessary. So that's one of the key things, is if you're gonna spray, don't mow it right before you spray it. What to plant for your fall plots. I talked about, chemical. I'm not gonna dive into whether to till, to no-till. That's your guys' decision. If you're gonna no-till, you're gonna have a lot of money put into this. If you're gonna go out and just throw seed out on top of the ground and not do anything with it, your chances of having a successful plot are gonna be much less. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying that. But you wanna get good seed to soil contact. You'll hear anybody that does food plots and puts out information on that, for the most part, is going to say you need to have good seed to soil contact. This is not a new idea. This is very basic. What to plant? I plant a blend. I have started to back off my brassicas just a little bit in the past because I am seeing so much benefit from cereal grains, clovers, peas, things of that nature. Your cereal grains are going to be barley, triticale, wheat, things of that nature. And so you've got those groups, you've got clovers, many different kinds of clovers. I love red clover, I do like tillage radishes, I like some turnips. But you get that diversity out there. Different plants have different palatability peak stages at different times. So when say your turnips and radishes hit a peak palatability stage, deer are gonna hammer them, and then that palatability stage drops off for a while. And oftentimes, it may be your clover, it may be your cereal grains, the palatability in those comes up. And so you always want something out there that is peak palatability wise and peak, if it's a peak palatability, it's gonna be peak attraction to your food plot. You want that available in your plot. So that's why I plant a blend, or at least if you don't plant a blend, I would recommend having as much out there as you possibly can, maybe having several different plots, maybe one cereal grains, one brassicas. But if you're there, try a little bit of blending it all together. And there's some good companies out there that sell a really good blend variety specific to plots. And if you want to have cereal grains, have cereal grains. I would recommend, guys, test this stuff out. Not everything, the deer don't react the same all over geographically. Deer don't eat turnips and radishes very much on my place. You go 20 miles away, that's the majority of what they love to dig out of the ground during the winter, and some food plots I've seen on some friends' property. And they prefer more the clovers, peas, and cereal grains here. I plant it all because, you know, winter weather is, you know, we don't know what it's gonna do. If we have a bunch of ice and whatnot, they'll tend to go towards, you know, what's the easiest thing to get to is those bulbs for the sugar content. With that, that's the wrap on this Building Whitetails episode. Make sure your mineral sites are refreshed. Have a game plan going into your fall food plots. And that time is basically here. It's real close. The further north you go, the guys plant a little sooner. Base that you want to plant, here's one little tip. You want to plant approximately 45 to 50-ish days before your average first freeze. So our average first freeze here is October 15th. So I'm gonna plant around the 1st of September, maybe the week or 10 days before. It's worked really well for me because you want time for that stuff to grow before your first freeze gets here. Guys, feel free to reach out and hit me up. I'm on Instagram, j.pretzer.9. Be sure to like and subscribe to this series. Really appreciate all the feedback and the positivity that you guys are throwing out. Until next time, we've got deer season almost here. All right. Guys, welcome to this episode of Building Whitetails.